Welcome back. Here with us on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Yesterday, we told you how a teen in Lucknow killed his own mother after he was denied to play an online game. Today, there is another case that has come from the maximum city, Mumbai, where a 16-year-old killed himself for a similar reason. The 16-year-old's body was found on a railway track in Mumbai's Malad area. Cops, while probing the case, found that the teen ended the life after his mother stopped him from playing an online game. The police have even recovered a suicide note. There is one thing common in both the cases, and that is online gaming addiction. It's not the first time that we have seen these kind of incidents coming because of online gaming addiction. But in just 2 days, two such incidents coming definitely are a cause of concern. These two examples clearly show that the addiction of online gaming is fueling criminality. Tonight, I want to ask the experts, is it the ticking time bomb? What should we do to address this issue immediately? Joining us on the broadcast this evening is Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relation. We are going to be joined by Dr. Nisha Khanna, who is a psychologist. And also, we will be joined by Kasthuri Shankar, actor and social activist. Appreciate all of you for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Mr. Dilip Cherian, I want to begin the discussion with you. Yesterday, also, Mirror Now had this debate about online gaming addiction because a 16-year-old had killed his own mother in Lucknow because she was stopping him from playing an online game. Today, a case has come from Mumbai. What's happening to the young people in the society?
I think that there are two ways of looking at this. Both are sad and tragic incidents, and both unfortunately refer to the same kind of addiction. So the first question is, what are we doing about addictions which young people are getting aligned with very early on? And the second thing is banning the answer, or is actually more openness and less, shall I say, attempts to hide it, the appropriate answer as a society? And the third thing is that we must distinguish between games of skill and I think games of chance. If one looks at all these three issues, I think that we probably are not doing enough as a society. Gaming is a serious business right across the world. Young people, and especially millennials, are spending more and more time on it. As we move towards a world where there is going to be perhaps greater impact of longer leisure hours on all people, you're going to find gaming is becoming part of more people's lifestyle than less. So I think that trying to hide it, trying to cloak it in some kind of illegality and illicitness is probably making it even more attractive and therefore even more dangerous. Schools, parents, everybody needs counseling on this. They need to speak to experts, and they need experts who can actually open up and get people to talk about what is actually behind this. Of course, the fact is that too many of us spend too much time on the blue screen, and that itself is an addiction we need to worry about.
You have raised some pertinent points. Is banning the answer? That's one, but we know that PUBG as a game was already banned, yet people continue to play it. It is, it is leading to people becoming criminals, people claiming their own lives or killing others. Kasthuri Shankar, how will you like to respond to these two incidents that we are talking about today? And why do you think it's very, very important to address this ticking time bomb in both the cases? In Lucknow and in Mumbai, we are talking about 16-year-old children. One has killed his own mother. The second one has claimed his own life.
I'm addressing this issue today, Heena, as not just an actor or a public person or an advocate. I'm not bringing all those personalities in. I'm bringing my personality my dimension as a mother of a 16-year-old into this debate. It is completely heartbreaking. It is extremely scary for me as a mother of a teenage child to hear these kind of incidents. And we've been increasingly hearing more and more of these kind of incidents. And the Lucknow incident, especially of a 16-year-old boy killing his mother, going and playing out cricket, coming and locking his sister up, going out to his neighbors and getting food. He has been completely cold-blooded in it. So it's not just about addiction. It's also about how these video games change the mentality of influenceable minds. They're giving you a disconnect between reality and humanity. They're making you into complete, it's not just addiction. It is pernicious, malicious, psychopathic addiction where your entire mind is altered that you don't even know what is right and wrong. You've become a cold-blooded murderer. So I'm very afraid for these kind of games. It's not just about teenagers also. There is a lady who committed suicide in Chennai today because of mounting debts due to online rummy. We are promoting this as though these are status symbols. Every cricket match, you have so many advertisements, so many promotions. It's all attractive, making it look like all these gambling websites are actually doing you a favor. And on the other hand, you have impressionable minds falling prey to video games that are so attractive, so addictive. So what do? Number one, obviously here it was a single parent house. The father was working in West Bengal. He was not there. So there was not enough monitoring, I feel, for teenagers. And I fear, I dread to even think of what I do because I am a working mother. I'm talking to you from work. I have two kids at home and they are probably sitting and watching something on their mobile phones. Mobile phones are a necessity. Entire 2 years of school, they went to on their mobile phones. So I cannot pull it away from them, but I don't know if they're studying or they're playing a pernicious, dangerous game. I don't know. The only thing we can do is try to go back to the olden days where we had school involved, we had family involved, we had dinner at the table, we were able to catch on.
Kasthuri, before I go across to Dr. Nisha Khanna, since you are a mother of a 16-year-old, what is it that you are trying to do to stop your child from getting addicted to any sort of an online game? What is it that you are doing right now? Could you unmute yourself?
I'm going to start looking.
Could you unmute yourself, Kasthuri? We can't hear you.
It's on. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I got bumped off by a phone call. I believe you can hear me now.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
We can hear you, Kasthuri.
I think I'm doing, and I really want to have a psychologist or a psychiatrist's opinion on how we can deal with teenagers. As it is, my teenage daughter is difficult to deal with. On top of it, if I have to, it's very difficult to find out if she is addicted or if she's just a teenager. It's really very difficult. I'm admitting that. I confess. It's complete. I don't know why she's acting up. Is it something I did? Is it something she did? Is it something that happened to a K-pop band, or is it an addiction? I can't find out. How do I find out?
Yes, that's an important point you have raised. And you know, the idea behind doing this show again on online gaming addiction today is also tell people in this country what they can do to end this addiction. Dr. Nisha Khanna, before we talk about what can be done to end this, how do we identify whether a child is addicted to online gaming or he's just playing it whenever he has time? What are the symptoms? What should, as a parent, we need to look at and monitor?
The first of all is that how much time the child is spending on the phone or on the gaming part. That is one thing. Sometimes we use the people. I can say that because I worked with the poker baji company as a counselor. I used to counsel their clients, especially who play games, who lose lot of amount of money. As a counselor, I think so I was associated with that company for more than 2 years as an expert. So I found it out, the people who are playing games, or the boys or the young generation who is playing games, their IQs are very high, but emotional quotient is very low. These people are very sensitive. Either they have some family issues, either they have some girlfriend breakup issues, they have parental issues. Somebody is very ambitious, wants to make money. Somebody is like having a lot of energy, ADHD symptoms, very hyperactive, and doesn't know how to channelize the energy. So by using the game, not having too much of friends, especially due to the COVID times when people were not able to go out of the houses and they have the limited approach, these online gamings were on top. And at that time, I think so PUBG was getting to the more highlighted, and it was banned. So you can identify antisocial traits. Antisocial trait is not the person is not socializing. Antisocial trait is my life, my rules. It's my life. I want to live my life in my way. I am waking up in the morning, I'm playing game. Whenever I'm having breakfast, I'm playing game. Whenever I'm having lunch, or whenever I'm having the time, I'm just playing games. You have to understand that parents are the right model in front of you. And these days, lots of times, parents themselves are not available to I would say, to the kids. And that's why another thing, their emotional needs are not being addressed. Either they are one or two kids and everyone is busy in their schedules. Second thing, when I say children who plays such games are emotionally either very sensitive. They are doing it for attention seeking because they want some attention. As that attention is not coming from the person, they find gaming is the way where somebody is that appreciating them. They are getting coins, they are getting some bonus points, they are getting some appreciation, which sometimes in the form of verbal. So sometimes in the parents, the child wants to do something, parents doesn't understand that. So I would say if parents will start appreciating kids, parents would start spending quality of time. You have to try to understand if your child is every time say that, okay, I don't want to spend time in a group. I don't want to spend time in a family. What I want to do, I want to sit in my room and I want to play a game on video game. Or I want to play PUBG. Not alone, my other friends are also playing the game. I have seen even kids in my own family who are just playing the game whole day. So you have to, this is the time of addiction because it's interfering their studies. It is interfering their daily routine. It is interfering that they doesn't want to do anything else. Definitely, if they see violence, definitely the
Right.
violence, aggression, rudeness will increase in their behavior.
Yes, what you've said is important. They are seeking attention, and Dilip Cherian probably. Yes, yes, Kasturi.
How do we find out if they're studying or playing? I have no way of telling. I think they're doing
Yes.
some test, online test or
Yes,
but
that was
they're
the point
actually
that I was
playing.
coming to. Yes, Dilip Cherian, a lot has changed, for each one of us, parents, children, everybody, because of COVID pandemic. I mean, during the pandemic, parents were forced to give smartphones, mobile phones to their children. So, it is an addiction that probably is there in front of us, but how do you keep an eye on the child is another point. Can there be a way to, have a system that, as far as these violent games are concerned, their access becomes restricted for children? Can we have a system like that? Do you think something like that will work? Because they are seeing violence, they are becoming violent.
Heena, it's a good point. And in fact, that's why I said we need to bring gaming out of the closet. You need to start putting restrictions on certain kind of games. You need to start classifying them. You need to make sure that there are parental controls, school controls, societal controls on access to certain games. This is not as difficult as we think it is sitting where we are. The kind of tracking that companies are able to do on who is watching what is actually phenomenal. So it's just a matter of making sure that instead of entire energies being devoted to try and market and get new people addicted to the game. The idea is to enforce these companies to make sure that as soon as they recognize that a person of a certain age is indulging in a game of a certain kind of violence, you need to choke off the supply. There are ways of doing it. Technology allows you to do that. Especially smartphone technology allows you to track virtually everything. Why is that not being done? Instead, we are trying to cover them all in the same kind of tar. And as you can see, it is simply not possible. The genie has already left the bottle. So what I'm saying is that use technology to fix a problem which technology has created. Now, if we don't do that and instead try banning and barring and removing them, etc., that's not going to work. Children today are smart enough to find a workaround for most of these things. Since we're not trying to be a society like China, we need to find answers that civilized societies like ours can accept, and that games can be made to confer on themselves and on the people who they sell time to. So essentially, we need to understand that solutions which are techno fixes exist, and we need to make sure that governments legislate to make sure that these rules are put in place and everyone's got to conform to it. That's as simple as that. You can't say, oh, we are banning this game because kids are finding ways of playing it.
Absolutely, and kids are more smart when it comes to technology. So definitely, a bigger solution is the need of the hour, and prohibition has never worked in any case. We have seen, as far as other substance abuse is concerned, prohibition has never worked. So probably that is also not going to help. So Dr. Nisha Khanna, the point is what can be done immediately, and how will you like to address the issue that Kasthuri Shankar raised earlier? How do you find out whether a child is studying or playing a game? You can't always be looking at a child's phone. I mean, that'll make the child even more aggressive and irritable.
So the sudden behavioral changes is required. As I said, child may be very irritated. If you stop him from doing something, if the child is spending too much time on phone, the way you said it, that it may be the study, but the behavioral changes when you are playing a game, child is looking for, I don't want to spend time. As on the virtual phones, the sir said, Dilip sir said that it's easy to watch it out what they are watching. And from your internet connection, you can see whether the child is playing a game or not. You can track from your internet connections, from your broadbands, what is the data, where your child is using that data. Is this associated with something, playing a game website or gaming website, or doing something else? Second thing is that parents are themselves the role models. How much time parents are spending when they are spending time with kids? Are they always over the call for work business, or they are using phones just for watching Instagram or other things? Third thing I always say is that quality of time you spend with the child, what the child likings, what the child dislikings are, why child like playing game, what is enforcing the child to play game. That is also very important. As I said it, appreciation is the most of the aspect. Communication. These children doesn't communicate, and no one they has with whom they share their heart out. Because when I dealt with always addicted people of gaming, because I have consulted more than, 100, I think so, 50 to 100 such addictive patients in last 2 years. And I'm telling you, seriously, when you talk to them, they tell you they have emotional issues, they have home issues, they have family issues. They will tell you thousands of stories. You have to sit and talk. I think so. Parents should be a friend to the child. The moment you become a friend to the child will start opening up, sharing the things which the child has in her or mind. Don't enforce child. Don't stop child, but guide a child. It's a canvas, like a canvas. Inside the canvas, if you paint a picture, it will look beautiful. If you will cross the lines, you have to bear the consequences. As a parent, you would be there with the child if the child will do something wrong.
I think the bottom line is parents will have to find ways to spend more time with the children. Yes, Ms. Kasthuri Shankar, I want to give you the last word.
Yes.
Do you think this is something that can help you as a parent, the viewers who are watching us?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Khanna, for your insight into it. I think the bottom line is, वो पिछले ज़माने में जब हम joint family में थे, I think that had its advantages, and now one has come into digital world where we are all babysat by phones, and we have to get back. We have to claw back to a position where parents and children will spend much more time together, where we are able to actually keep track of our children's feelings and they feel they are our friends. My mom was my friend. I hope I am my daughter's friend. And we'll have to keep trying ways to be part of their lives a lot more than what we do now.
Well, absolutely. These are very simple things that can be done and, of course, need to be done because this addiction has now started fueling criminality. And we're talking about an entire generation that could be ruined if this continues unabated like this. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Heading into a very, very short break, Griha joins you next with all the top stories of the day. Stay with us.